Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm really excited about this tarot course that you've been planning. I just wanted to take some time here to talk a little bit about the course to help people understand a little more of what it involves, who it's for, what people could expect to get out of it.
When you asked me to do this with you, it really sparked my imagination. I always have trouble expressing my ideas around things until I get into the course, but I have some clarity about this. I've been teaching tarot for a long time, and I
Mhm,
and I've been teaching polarity for a long time. And they
mhm,
marry so well because, first of all, right out of the gate, tarot and the divinatory arts have a particular way and structure around connecting with the divine. And particularly for polarity therapists, there's something here about if you want to learn tarot, it's great. And even if you're not that interested in tarot, it's a great tool to learn polarity in terms of a very specific point of view around energetic listening skills, the elements, involution and evolution, connection to slowing down and checking things out, symbolism, and so many things that we use in polarity, but also the idea of getting into conversation with people. So sometimes the one-on-one conversation is difficult for some people, but once they're tuning into the cards, it invites something that feels very magical and a little step removed. So it can help in a lot of ways, like very directly, or for people who don't have that challenge, but certainly for people that do have that challenge.
mhm,
And so I use it. I've used it in my practice quite a lot, actually,
mhm,
and in a kind of specific ways. In that, it's a very good learning tool for myself and for clients in
mhm,
terms of understanding the elements, understanding I'm going to say the elements of polarity in a way,
mhm.
but the elements themselves as well.
Can I just say what I'm hearing here? Because so it's
Yes.
just in terms of how this could help a polarity practitioner is there's all these different aspects of polarity that are there in the field with tarot in terms of involution, evolution, in terms of the elements, and in terms of energetic listening skills, in terms of one-on-one relationship and being curious and in an inquiry around healing and what wants to happen sort of in the
Yeah.
energetic healing process.
And now that you're saying that, it invites me to like the idea of opening the field and allowing
Mhm,
for the big possibilities of things and
mhm,
and different perspectives. It's much more about that than it is about answering somebody's question. Like the part of the thing
mhm,
of, from my perspective,
mhm,
anyways, it's
mhm,
as open to interpretation as there are people. But from my perspective, the idea is to allow people to tune into different aspects of things and allow for more than one answer,
mhm,
like more than one perspective. And so I just find it really brilliant in that way. And it's great for people who are learning polarity and have a challenge with remembering something about evolution and evolution or the elements themselves or the gunas, because it's so inherently a part of it and in a very specific way. Once you
mhm,
understand what the suit of swords is about, you're pretty clear about air
mhm,
from this perspective. And not only just globally what air is about, but very specifically how it works in a very number of ways, because there's a
mhm.
bunch of it's related to that element.
Yeah,
And it holds a certain field of light.
I'm really loving this. Yeah, because I know a little bit about tarot enough that it has enhanced my understanding. Even just knowing, for example, the minor arcana, the ace through 10, and seeing that as a journey and the different aspects of how, say, mind energy could manifest in relationship to the suit of swords, right? That's like one example, or wands being fire, or cup being water. That it can refine and take you on a journey of evolution with respect to the element in a more refined way. If that does that make sense what I'm saying here?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly what I mean. Because once you're on that journey, you've had that journey. It's not the end of the discussion of air, for instance, swords being related to air, but it certainly is a very grounded. You walk away knowing what air is about on a
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
from a
yeah.
certain perspective, and you won't have that confusion anymore if you had it
Hmm.
coming in that.
The other thing I heard you say was just about the client practitioner relationship and the inquiry process in general as polarity practitioners of using this externalized uh, piece, the tarot card, as a way of creating
Mm.
some objectivity or a little bit more distancing to be able to start to open the field and dialogue about what's going on, or open yourself to the possibilities and enhancing or helping with those skills, even if you're not using tarot necessarily directly in your practice, that could become a way of helping with inquiry and
Yeah,
client communication.
I think that even if you remove it from a client interaction, but for some people, for instance,
Mhm,
some people, this looking somebody in the eye is a problem. And then
mhm,
looking down at the cards and having a dialogue really opens the field. For
mhm,
other people, but for the polarity student, for instance,
mhm,
there's something on like doing a spread, stopping, pausing, relating things to each other, making that relational field within yourself and
mhm.
slowing down. Like there's so many pieces of learning tarot that are so helpful in all of the ideas of energy work.
Yeah.
It,
Mhm,
it invites so many things. And so in that slowed down place of all the narratives that might go with this, astrology
mhm,
has that quality also. There's so many narratives that could go with this combination of things. And
mhm,
then what I also thought was meaningful and why I love teaching at this level of things. It's really fun to get into the dance of it, but there's really something beautiful about exposing what tarot really is about, like how it's really designed and how
mhm,
deep and rich and full of meaning it is. And
mhm,
then and then for people that really want to be with it, it's hard because it's 78 cards and there's no
mhm,
getting around. And if you don't get a little grounded or make some relationship with it, you you may feel confused. One
mhm,
may feel. And if you do, then you're not really in your best head to be a practitioner. So I hope that this course would help people get enough of a grounding and understanding that they could use their cards. I always say, like when I offer classes, the people that come are often the people that they've had a deck forever. They've looked at a few books, they've played around with it, but they never got to a place where they could really use it because
mhm,
it takes an effort. So
mhm.
what we will do is get some basic grounding and conceptualization and go through those ideas of the elements and the numerology and all that. But we'll also go through every card
Yeah.
uh, in a
So
meaningful way.
maybe I was going to say it might be helpful just to name. I know you've designed the course in terms of what you're going to cover, but that for people who don't know, that tarot does include. There's a numerology aspect. There's this four elements aspect. That there's the four suits that map to the basic four elements, like polarity,
And
and
there's
then
definitely involution and evolution
yeah, evolution,
in
evolution,
more
and
than one way.
yeah,
Found, I mean, there's so many ways you can play with that.
yeah. And just for folks who don't know, who aren't part of the polarity world, like involution would be the movement more towards our earthly existence and survival mode of being in a body and the adaptations we need to make to be in the earth world, and evolution being how we move more
Mhm.
towards our essence or spirit and expand out into our full capacity and true being in a way. That's how I would define evolution. Evolution.
And when you say that, it invites me to engage with the idea of source and how we live in a culture that is so material perspective heavy that it often takes us away from source. And I think polarity and cranial and so many of the things we do as energy workers is so related to reconnecting with source. And this is another way. And
Mhm,
um and also of the skills that facilitate that, which includes really slowing down, really contemplating, really allowing like the full width and breadth of what two can be, or
mhm,
what unity is, or could be. And if
mhm,
you allow for all of that possibility, and really, and this is why I love these things, because they invite me to a bigger intelligence and a
mhm,
bigger connection source. I want
mhm,
to, in the course, provide some structure because one needs the structure and one needs the wild, intuitive connected to source, symbolic,
Hmm.
anything goes possibility. But without some ground, that just becomes whatever mood I'm in today, or
Hmm.
what my opinion is, or what I think you should do. And that's the place you really don't want to be in. So
Yeah.
this provides a tool to tune into kind of universal forces. And
Hmm.
I'll say it now, like I invite people to come into it reverently. And
Hmm.
believe in it or don't believe it, it does use it.
Hmm.
You can use it as a practical tool and a very visionary tool. And
Hmm.
everything in
Sometimes I'll pick a card before a session just to, I don't know, just to see what comes up. And that becomes part of my field that I'm holding with the client. But I also would sometimes do that with Dr. Stone's books. I would flip to just a random chart or page and see what would come up. And so many times there was resonance between that chart and the session, or between the card and the session. That's part of divination, finding the connections.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear you loud and clear. And I think that there's something that we miss, I think, often in studying these things is we're looking for mystery and we have to allow for it. We have to allow that we
Hmm.
don't know everything. We're never going to know everything. You're never going to perfect. You're never going to be ready. If you wait till you know everything about polarity, you're never going to practice. If you wait till you know everything about tarot, you're never going to practice. But then to
Hmm.
be very respectful about how you're practicing. And also, like one thing I would always say in every class, I hope I remember to say it, is allow for the possibility that you don't have it all, that you're not
Hmm.
right, that
Hmm.
you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Allow for the infinite possibility of things and offer it's just good work ethic in a way in all of these
Hmm.
things to not get
Yeah.
too prescriptive
Yeah.
and to keep an open mind and also to
Hmm.
honor the message you're getting. Like you
Hmm.
ask for support, however you perceive that. You ask
Hmm.
for support, going to this reverently. I'm going to use these cards asking for support and then respect what they offer you.